गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिधि नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य सतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you for joining, and today we'll continue discussion on Adi Leela, chapter 4 and text 164 onwards. So just a quick recap of this chapter. As of now, we have seen that how the external reason of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance was described in the previous chapter. And in this chapter, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami started explaining about the Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna, and how he appears, what are the incarnations, how he kills the demons. But Lord has three desires. The three desires, he still wanted to fulfill the desires, and to fulfill that desire, he appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And before, just after explaining this thing, he discussed more about what is ordinary bhakti, what is Shuddha bhakti, what is Vidha bhakti, and then he also explains about that. Now, what are the four kinds of mellows? Where we saw the Madhurya Rasa is the topmost one, and eventually then he discussed about the Krishna's potency, Krishna's the Satchit Ananda, Sat potency, Chit potency, and Ananda potency, Sandhini Sakti, Samvit Sakti, and Ahladini Sakti. And after that, he started explaining about the Krishna's first desire. Yeah, and eventually we understood that the first desire of Krishna is he was curious even to taste the love of Srimati Radharani. I mean, the amount of bliss Srimati Radharani has, or he gets it, Krishna wants us to taste those. Yeah, because Srimati Radharani is the one who fulfills all the desires of Krishna. Yeah, there is no one else who can fulfill completely the desires of Krishna. So whatever pleasure Krishna gets, we saw that whatever pleasure Krishna gets, Srimati Radharani experiences 10 million times more than Krishna, and that's how Krishna wanted to understand it. That was the first reason. Yeah, and then we talked about the second reason, where the second reason, where he says that Srimati Radharani, Krishna has this wonderful qualities, and this Krishna's wonderful qualities are there. It says Adbhuta, Ananta, Purna. Adbhuta, it's kind of very wonderful. Ananta is unlimited, and Purna is fully complete. So Krishna's Madhurya or Krishna's qualities are is fully complete and transcendental. However, Srimati Radharani alone releases those through her love. Out of her strength, the strength of love, actually, she tests all of things. So this beauty of Krishna, which even attract Krishna, so Krishna wanted to release that, right? Because that only been released by Srimati Radharani. And then we started discussing about the third 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 desire of Krishna. So let us continue from that now. I'll just quick recap and quickly read few verses to understand the third desire of Krishna. Yeah. Jaya
Prabhu?
Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, any questions?
Yeah, Prabhu, very quickly, while it's in mind. Srimati Radharani experiences 10 million times more. I mean, that's amazing. And it just occurred to me to ask you, if she's Krishna's internal potency, did she manifest outside of him that he cannot feel it and has to reincarnate as Mahaprabhu to feel it? Or, I mean, if it's his internal potency, wouldn't he still feel what she's feeling the 10 million times, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I got your point because he's also coming from Krishna only. Then how is that she's having this thing, like she's experiencing more that. Yeah, so the Yoga Maya potency plays the role here, and Srimati Radharani is again, is Ahladini Sakti, so it's a pleasure potency. So the pleasure potency of Krishna is, is experiencing the epitome of that, and which Krishna is actually not experiencing. That's why Krishna says, and the Krishna is even the beauty of Krishna even attract Krishna himself. And in that way, he wanted to release what Srimati Radharani is experiencing. Yes, Prabhu, does
Thank
it
you.
make sense? Yeah. I mean, it's kind of inconceivable to to understand these points in a logical way. It doesn't, the scriptures sometimes, is goes in such a way that that's why Lord Brahma says, "Adurlabham atma," Vedesu durlabham, adurlabham atma bhakto. This Vedas, they becomes durlabha, is become rare for the people to understand, but it adurlabham atma bhakto, it becomes very easy for devotees to understand this. So gradually and gradually we will be in the point where we will be able to understand this, how Srimati Radharani is actually experiencing that highest experience. Yeah, though it is being described that, it's quite difficult for us to understand this point. So we just take the scriptures and move ahead. And when we will be on that stage of practicing pure spontaneous bhakti, then Krishna will guide us to understand this more. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, so let us read a few more. Here it says, anyone who claims to know it must have heard it from. So here we discussed about, all the pastimes, intimate pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If is being heard by anyone, then he must have heard from Sarup Damodar. Give me 1 second. I think might be, yeah, everything is covered. So they must have heard from Sarup Damodar only. That was it says, because Sarup Damodar was very intimate to the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he is kind of, gatekeeper. Anyone wants to see Mahaprabhu, it must pass through or be approved by Sarup Damodar Goswami. Okay, that is okay. Now it says that the love of gopis is called Rudha Bhava. It is pure and spotless. It is not at any time lust. Yeah. So that we covered. And the pure love of gopis has become celebrated by the name lust. The dear devotees of the Lord, headed by Sri Uddhava, desire to taste that love. Uh, even when I think we discussed this point, Uddhava, how Krishna wanted to teach Uddhava because Uddhava is completely on Jnana platform. He's a disciple of Brahaspati, and he is very potent in this knowledge. So Krishna wanted to give him the taste of love, what what the gopis experience, and this comes very beautiful in Bhagavatam, right? When Uddhava understood the gopis, and it says that no, he he desired to be a grass outside of Vrindavan so that he can have the dust of lotus feet of the devotees who are actually going to visit Vrindavan. In that way, he glorifies the gopis and the Vrindavan. Just he was completely filled of jnani mentality, but after seeing the love of gopis, he was completely bewildered. He completely kind of he forgot. Oh my goodness, love can be of this extent, kind of that. Yeah. Okay. So we'll start from 164. काम प्रेम दोहंकर विभिन्न लक्षण लौ आर हे मयैसे स्वरूपे विलक्षण. Yes, Kishori Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Lust and love have different characteristics, just as iron and gold have different natures. Hare Krishna.
One should try to discriminate between sexual love and pure love, for they belong to different categories, with a gulf of difference between them. They are as different from one another as iron and gold. Yeah. So, because the gopis love for Krishna is the pure love. It's not at all anyway, it's sexual kind of. So there's both a huge difference, the gulf of difference between them. Wow, it's a very beautiful verse actually. It says it clarifies about how these both are different, sexual love and pure love. What is the definition? It says, Atmendriya priti vancha tara bole kam Krishnendriya priti cha dhare prema nam. Let's see the meaning. Yes, Rupesh Prabhu.
The desire to gratify one's own senses is kama, lust. But the desire to please the senses of the Lord, Krishna, is prema, love.
Yeah. So desire to please the senses of Lord Krishna is called as prema. Now the story we see that when Narad Muni, when Lord Krishna had a headache, and Narad Muni asked, "How can your headache be relieved?" He says, if I can smear the dust of the lotus feet of the devotees, and then my headache will be cured. And Narad Muni, he went to Dwarikas, and he went to the gopis, the queens of Dwarikas, and he says, Krishna is having headache, and he asking for a little dust of your lotus feet. This is how can we give the dust of our feet to smear on the head of Krishna? It's not possible. I mean, eventually he went to the gopis, and the gopis started giving him buckets and buckets of dust. And Narad Muni says, don't you care about going to hellish planet by giving your dust of feet to smear on the head of Krishna? And the gopi says, we don't care. Even if we go to hell, we don't care. What we care is how can Krishna be cured. That's it. If you say the medicine of Krishna's cure for headache is our dust of the feet, then so it be. Right? So that is what is the desire to please Krishna, please the senses of Krishna. Rishikesh and Rishikesha. Yeah, the senses to please Krishna. And at the opposite, what is the lust? Lust is to desire to gratify our own senses. When someone is, willing to fulfill his desire of his own senses, that is called as kama, that is a lust. But when someone performs an activity to please the senses of Krishna, that is called as love. Let's see the purport. The revealed scriptures describes pure love as follows. Sarvartha dvamsa rahitam steyapi dvamsakarena yad bhava bandhavan yonu sa prema parikritita. If there is ample reason for the dissolution of of a conjugal relationship, and yet such a dissolution does not take place, such a relationship of intimate love is called pure. It's kind of unconditional, ahitukya pratiyata. Yeah, the predominated gopis were bound to Krishna in such pure love. For them, there was no question of sexual love based on sense gratification. Their only engagement in life was to see Krishna happy in all respects, regardless of their own personal interest. See, this is love. Their only engagement in life was to see Krishna happy in all respect, regardless of their own personal interest. They dedicated their soul only for the satisfaction of the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. There was not the slightest tinge of sexual love between the gopis and Krishna. The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita asserts with authority that sexual love is a matter of personal sense enjoyment. All the regulative principles in the Vedas pertaining to desires for popularity, fatherhood, wealth, and so on are different phases of sense gratification. Acts of sense gratification may be performed under the cover of public welfare, nationalism, religion, altruism, ethical codes, biblical codes, health directives, food actions, bashfulness, tolerance, personal comfort, liberation from material bondage, progress, family affection, or fear of social ostracism or legal punishment. But all these categories are different subdivisions of one substance, that is sense gratification. All such good acts are performed basically for one's own sense gratification. For no one can sacrifice his personal interest while discharging this much advertised moral and religious principle. But above all, this is a transcendental stage in which one feels himself to be only an eternal servitor of Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead. All acts performed in this sense of servitude are called pure love of God because they are performed for the absolute sense gratification of Sri Krishna. Now we discussed this, right? Anya avilada sunyam jnana karma dhyanavratam anukulena krishnanu shilana bhakti uttama. That is the uttama bhakti is only done for the pleasure of Krishna. Yeah. 166. कामेर तात्पर्य निज संभोग केवल कृष्ण सुख तात्पर्य मात्र प्रेम ता प्रबल. Chan Mataji.
Yes. Hare Krishna, the object of lust is only the enjoyment of one's own senses, but love caters to the enjoyment of Lord Krishna, and thus it is very powerful.
But love caters to the enjoyment for Lord Krishna is very powerful. Yeah. Let's see 167 and 169. लोक धर्म वेद धर्म देह धर्म कर्म लज्जा धरी ये देह सुख आत्म सुख मर्म दुस्तर्ये ज आर्य पथ निज परिजन स्वजन कार्य तांडन भर्सन स्वर्ग त्याग करी करे कृष्णेर भजन कृष्ण सुख हेतु करे प्रेम सेवन. Yes, Kishori Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Social customs, scriptural injunctions, bodily demands, fruitive action, shyness, patience, bodily pleasures, self gratification, and the path of Varnashama Dharma, which is different to give up. The gopis have forsaken all this, as well as their own relatives and their punishment and scolding, for the sake of serving Lord Krishna. They render loving service to him for the sake of his enjoyment.
Yeah. So these gopis, they have forsaken all these, as well as their own relatives and their punishment and scolding, because they will see it more, in Bhagavatam when coming back. They have been stopped going to meet Krishna, but they were always eager to serve Krishna. Yeah, they disregard everything else. इहा के कहिए कृष्णे दृढ़ अनुराग स्वच्छा धौत वस्त्रेरा याचे नहीं कोन दाग. Yes, request Prabhu.
That is called firm attachment to Lord Krishna. It is spotlessly pure, like clean cloth that has no stain.
Yeah, like a clean cloth that has no stain. When we do something for Krishna, it's spotlessly pure. The author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita advises everyone to give up all engagement of sense gratification and, like the gopis, dovetail oneself entirely with the will of the Supreme Lord. That is the ultimate instruction of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. We should be prepared to do anything and everything to please the Lord, even at the risk of violating the Vedic principles or ethical laws. That is the standard of love of Godhead. Such activity in pure love of Godhead are as spotless as white linen that has been completely washed. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur warns us in this connection that we should not mistakenly think that the idea of giving up everything implies the renunciation of duties necessary in relation to the body and mind. Even such duty are not sense gratification if they are undertaken in the spirit of service of Krishna. Yeah, it's a very beautiful sign. Sometimes they say, okay, I'll give up my job, I'll give up my family, I won't take care of my children, I'll just go for love of Godhead. Yeah, it's good, but the warning is there. Krishna explains that in in chapter either 2 or 3. Krishna says he is called as pretender. Unless until our heart is completely purified and we try to false renunciation or false renunciation is not recommended. We may renounce our family, our job and things and go away. But if the desire in the heart is still hankering there, we may go out and try to find a way to fulfill the desire of our senses. So that is not recommended. Yeah. So violating Vedic principles or ethical laws is only for the pleasing Krishna. It's not just for our sense. And I say, okay, I'll today I will do this and tomorrow I'll go back to my sense gratification. It's not like that. Okay. अतएव काम प्रेम बहुत अंतर काम अंध तम प्रेम निर्मल भास्कर. So if you see these many verses, they are actually describing the differences between love and lust. Very, very important to understand, isn't it? Generally we don't understand what is love and what is lust. That's why many people they say, oh, Krishna, your God has so many wives, he has done Rasa Leela, so what's wrong if I do? Yeah, because the people they don't have this understanding of what is the meaning of lust and what is love. What Krishna is doing is not lust. Yeah, yes, Chan Mataji.
Yes. Therefore, lust and love are quite different. Lust is like dense darkness, but love is like the bright sun.
Yeah, lust is a dense darkness because it binds us completely, and love is like the bright sun. I know. Prabhupada giving one example in a morning walk. He says, if someone comes, a person comes and now he put a pistol on the head and say, okay, he say, I love you. You must say you love me, And the girl may say, yes, I love you, because that's not love. Actually, she's out of fear. He sees her life is on a stake, so there is no problem saying I love you at that point of time. And that is actually completely lost. It's a dense darkness. But love is like bright sun, and that too when is being dovetailed towards Lord Hari, Lord Krishna. अतएव गोपी गणेरा नाही काम गंध कृष्ण सुख लागी मात्र कृष्ण से संबंध. Okay, yes, Kishore Prabhu.
Thus, there is not the slightest taint of lust in the gopis' love. Their relationship with Krishna is only for the sake of his enjoyment.
Okay. यत्ते सुजात चरणाम्बुरहं स्तनेषु भीताः स्नेह प्रिय दधमी महि कर्कशेषु तेनातवीम् अतिशि तत् व्यथते न किं स्वेत् कुर्नापि देवी भ्रमति धीर्भवत् अस्या आयुषम् इनः. Rupesh Prabhu.
O dearly beloved, your lotus feet are so soft that we place them gently on our breast, fearing that your feet will be hurt. Our life rests only in you. Our minds, therefore, are filled with anxiety that your tender feet might be wounded by pebbles as you roam about on the forest path.
This is from Bhagavatam 10:31-19 was spoken by the gopis when Krishna left them in the midst of Rasa Leela. Yeah. So they are much worried about Krishna every moment. We'll reach there and we'll discuss it more at the time. It says Sokyartam, the words I'm forgetting, it says, the anything is done for the pleasure of the Krishna is the love for Krishna. That's what the gopis do. They are filled of anxiety that the Krishna's tender feet, might be wounded by the pebbles as he's roaming around in the forest. Yeah. Okay, we'll see more when it goes through. Atma sukha dukhe gopira nahi kavichara Krishna sukha hetu chestha mano vyavahara. Yes, Mataji.
Yes. The gopis do not care for their own pleasure or pains. All their physical and mental activities are directed toward offering enjoyment to Lord Krishna.
Yeah. So everything, their physical and mental activities are directed towards offering enjoyment to Lord Krishna. And they do not care about anything, their own pleasure or pains. Yeah. Krishna lagi arasava kare parityaga Krishna sukha hetu kare shuddha anuraga.
They renounced everything for Krishna. They have pure attachment to giving Krishna pleasure.
Yeah, it's a pure attachment, completely attached to giving everything to Krishna. Somehow or other they wanted to give pleasure to Krishna. Whatever Krishna wanted, that's what they did. It's very beautifully explained by acharyas and the senior devotees that the gopis, even the motherly gopis. So in Vrindavan, everyone is called as gopis. The motherly gopis, they are basically Mother Yashoda and of her ages. Even they were all being captivated by Krishna's activities, that every now and then they wanted to see Krishna, and they used to make some different plans to go to meet Yashoda mother and see Krishna over there. That's how they were captivated. And the same for the gopis too. Everyone is captivated by Krishna's beauty, Krishna's activities, Krishna's pastimes in the Braja. Okay, 176. एवं मद अर्थोजित लोकवेद स्वानाम हि वो मय अनुवर्तये बाला मया प्रोक्षं भजता तिरोहितं माशूयितं marhata tatpriyam priya. Actually, because this gopis discussion is going on, that's why I think it's been quoting from Bhagavatam 10th canto, 29 to 33 chapters. So these 5 chapters is very, very the essence of Bhagavatam is these 5 chapters actually. Okay, Rupesh Prabhu.
Oh, my beloved gopis, you have renounced social customs, scriptural injunctions, and your relatives for my sake. I disappeared behind you only to increase your concentration upon me. Since I disappeared for your benefit, you should not be displeased with me.
Nicely, is spoken by Krishna. Basically, what happened was, in the very first time when the Rasa dance started, Krishna left them all, and then they found Krishna again, and then they did Rasa dance again. And then when they found Krishna, Krishna is saying that I just left you just to increase your concentration on me. Because every gopi, they started thinking, oh, Krishna is with me, Krishna dances with me. They started getting proud, and then Krishna just left everyone, and then he left the place with Srimati Radharani. Yeah, I think when we go to this canto 10, we'll see this very beautiful descriptions over there.
Such a smart Alec, isn't he? Such a charmer.
Sorry, Prabhu.
He's such a charmer.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
a smart Alec. Very smart.
Krishna is
I left you for your benefit.
Krishna is Yogeshwara. He is the mystic of all mystics.
Mm.
In the same way, he's the cleverest as well.
Yeah.
Chaturya, he is the what do you say? No one can surpass him in any field, Yeah.
Yeah.
कृष्णेर प्रतिज्ञा एक आछे पूर्व हईते जे अच्छा भजे कृष्ण तार भजे तैसे. So this is basically kind of Bengali verse of another Bhagavatam, sorry, Bhagavad Gita. Ye yathama prapadante, that kind of verse, Yes, Chan Mataji.
Lord Krishna has a promise from before to reciprocate with his devotees according to the way they worship him.
Yeah. So the way we worship the Lord reciprocate. Or I think he's quoting here right away as well. Ye yathamam prapadante tam tathaiva bhajameham mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. In whatever way my devotees surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respects, O son of Pratha. Krishna was never ungrateful to the gopis, for as he declares to Arjuna in this verse from the Bhagavad Gita 4:11, he reciprocates with his devotees in proportion to the transcendental loving service they render unto him. Everyone follows the path that leads towards him, but there are different degrees of progress on the path, and the Lord is realized in proportion to one's advancement. The path is one, but the progress in approaching the ultimate goal is different, and therefore the proportion of realization of this goal, namely the absolute truth of the God, absolute personality of the Godhead, is also different. And the gopis attained the highest goal, and Lord Chaitanya affirmed that there is no method of worshipping God higher than that followed by the gopis. This is the conclusion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no other method of worshipping God higher than the followed by the gopis. That's basically Raganuga Bhakti. Actually, they are Ragatmika Bhaktas. Following them is called as Raganuga Bhakti. So these gopis, they are spontaneously in every condition, they are just worshipping Krishna. They are all, when Uddhava went, say, okay, do this, you can forget Krishna, this and that kind of, this is the problem. Is not about remembering Krishna, the problem is about we can't forget Krishna for a single moment. And that's how the gopis were. से प्रतिज्ञा भंग हईला गोपीर भजने तथा ते प्रमाण Krishna Sri Mukhe vachane. So a beautiful point actually coming in now. So here two verses, he says that Krishna ra pratigya eka ache purva haiti. So Krishna has one pratigya. What is the pratigya? Ye yathamam prapadyante tam satheva bhajamahem. As you worship me, I reciprocate. As the devotee of worship, I reciprocate. That was Krishna's pratigya. And this verse beautifully going a different way. Let's read the translation first. Yeah. Ekeshwari Prabhu.
That promise has been broken by the worship of the gopis, as Lord Krishna himself admits.
Yeah. So Krishna is admitting, Krishna has a promise that I reciprocate as you worship. And that promise is only been broken by the gopis. Like Krishna, he took a vow in the Kurukshetra war that I will not take any weapon to fight. And then Vishnu Pitama, he says, okay, I will let you break your vows. No. He says, either today Pandavas will leave, or Krishna has to break his vow. Either one has to be done. Yeah. So, and Krishna says, okay, I'm okay to break my vows, but I can't let Pandavas die. That is kind of more of his pratigya to give protection to his devotees. Yeah. So, but reciprocating Krishna is reciprocating to gopis is kind of ultimate. And here Krishna says in his Bhagavatam verse, he says, okay, actually it's time now. Let's see. Okay, let's continue. No problem. This verse, Krishna says, Napare ham niravadya samyujam swasadu krityam vibudha yushvapiva yamavajan durjaye geha shrinkhala samrishya tadva pratiyatu dadhuna. O gopis, I'm not able to repay my debt for your spotless service. Even within a lifetime of Brahma, your connection with me is beyond reapproach. You have worshipped me, cutting off all the domestic ties which are difficult to break. Therefore, please let your own glories did be your compensation. So basically, Krishna says, I can't repay you. So this verse when Krishna says, Ye yatham prapadanti tam tasya bhajamaham, and Krishna is now saying that I admit that I can't repay the depth of your spotless service. This again from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto 32 chapter 22 verse was spoken by Krishna when he returned to the gopis upon hearing their songs of separation. Yeah. Okay, it's perfectly 9. We still have not completed the third desire of Krishna, but we'll continue next week. Next week we shall be able to continue on Thursday evening. Hare Krishna. I will see you Monday.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.